straight to the top story tonight. The push has finally come to the shove, making Vijay Mallya's worst fears come true. The Central Bureau of Investigation today swung into action in the Mallyagate scandal, questioning two of his closest aides, Ravi, Nedungadi and A Raghunathan. ET now learns the CBI is probing if any kickback was paid by Kingfisher Airlines for procuring mammoth loans without any tangible assets to mortgage. Not just that, the country's top investigating agencies plan to move a letter rogatory to get an idea of Mallya's overseas assets.
Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate is also closing in on Vijay Mallya. Lenders to Kingfisher Airlines today submitted loan-related documents, all that pertain to Kingfisher Airlines. Sources tell ET now that the Enforcement Directorate will soon start quizzing the top bank officials in a bid to trace the money trail. On its part, of course, the EPFO has formed a crack team to investigate how Mallya swindled Provident Fund contributions of Kingfisher employees. The big crackdown against Vijay Mallya is a top story right here on India Tonight.
Okay, we've been on top of Mallyagate, and an entire battery of reporters is tracking every move of the biggest corporate default story in recent times. Joining us on the show on India Tonight this Tuesday evening, Vijay Iyer and Utkarsh Chaturvedi right outside the ED headquarters. Also joining us is Megha Prasad of Times Now. Vijay and Utkarsh, to you first. You both have got us the biggest news breaks on Mallyagate. Now we learn that the CBI has stepped up its efforts to corner Mallya's aides. What is the CBI looking for?
Sandeep, it's well past 9 at this point of time. Most of the CBI officers have left their premises, but only the team which is probing the Kingfisher is in there, and Mallya's closest aide, Ravi, Nedungadi and A Raghunathan is there. They came here at 2 o'clock today. It's been more than 7 hours, so it's a grilling session which they are going through by the CBI officials. Now, what we are picking up from our sources at this point of time is that they are probing into two angles. The biggest angle here is that why were loans given to Kingfisher at a point of time when the company was going bad? And especially about the IDBI loan, because it came last and at a point of time when the company had negative net worth. Now, what CBI is probing at this point of time is that whether there were any kickbacks involved in this and who got the benefits. And the second one is that was there any political influence there while giving the loans. Now, what we are also picking up from our sources in CBI is that CBI will be soon moving the letter rogatory, through which they'll be probing into the foreign assets of Vijay Mallya, through which they'll come to know that was the funds which were being taken for Kingfisher Airlines are being used in something else. So this is what they were picking up at this point of time. More than 7 hours of questioning, and it is still on at the CBI headquarters here in Mumbai.
All right, over 7 hours of questioning, and of course, the grilling does go on. Utkarsh Chaturvedi, hold your thoughts there, and let's pull in Vijay Ganeshan Iyer into this entire thing as well. Vijay, the CBI wants to write letter rogatory. They've written many in the past. They haven't really yielded much result. What is it that the CBI is really looking to nab at this stage?
Supriya, as you're rightly pointing out, clearly CBI is just sticking to some regular formalities of issuing letter rogatory, but the fact remains that CBI is looking at the kickbacks that must have gone for getting this particular loans cleared at various point of time from various persons. Now, as Utkarsh was rightly pointing out, purely the focus to begin with would be the IDBI loan to the tune of 900 crore. The biggest reason being IDBI was the last to sanction loans to Mallya even when his Kingfisher Airlines were almost on the verge of defunct status. Clearly, all options were going out for Kingfisher Airlines, and that is where IDBI came in and chipped in with its part of giving the loan, in spite of every report saying that Kingfisher Airlines was in a very bad shape and clearly the cash flows were not happening to the extent that is required. That is one aspect that is being probed very closely. Who in IDBI took this particular decision? Who are the officials who are sitting on the executive committee who had meetings with Vijay Mallya for allowing this particular loan to be sanctioned? These are certain aspects which to begin with CBI is looking, and of course now we all know how the 7,000 crore plus loan has turned out. So clearly the officials involved in sanctioning the loan at every point of time of PSU banks clearly will have to answer some tough questions, present or former.
All right, Vijay Ganeshan Iyer, thank you very much for getting us up to date with what's really happening at the CBI along with Utkarsh Chaturvedi. Hold your thoughts there. Because even as this Mallyagate rages on, this long-drawn saga started way back in 2013. But before we get you up to date with the timeline of the events and as they unfolded on your screens right now, there's a fresh statement that has come in from Vijay Mallya, and he's very categorically asserted once again that he hasn't spoken to Sunday Garden. Because remember, in that interview, he was allegedly quoted to have said that the environment in India is not right for him to return, almost stating that he's not going to come back to India anytime soon. He has, of course, in this new statement said that he has filed a complaint with the cyber police station in Mumbai. The editor of the paper has also publicly admitted on Twitter, he says, that he will investigate the matter as this tantamounts to fraud and needs to be seriously investigated into. In all fairness, all TV channels and newspapers who have quoted from the interview should publish a retraction. That's the word coming in from Vijay Mallya as far as that big interview with Sunday Garden is concerned, where he was quoted to have said that he doesn't perhaps want to come back to India anytime soon. But now, time to update you with everything that's happening on Mallyagate, and time to get you the timeline of the events and what has really led to today.
Once known as the king of good times, it's been a dramatic fall for Vijay Mallya, who suddenly finds himself a persona non grata. Ever since the RBI cracked the whip on willful defaulters, banks have been chasing him, even as the country's top investigative agencies tightened the screws on him. But it was the $75 million golden handshake with Diageo that turned things on its head. Banks, led by the State Bank of India, moved the Debt Recovery Tribunal, seeking to block the payout to Mallya. From then, it's been a free fall for the former liquor baron, who's now holed up in the UK with no signs of a return in the near future. Mallya's critics pounced on him when the news of him buying out a Barbados cricket club made headlines last month. By then, the Punjab National Bank had already labelled him a defaulter. But a defiant Mallya had then told Times Now that the media has no business to get into his personal life.
I have no comment to make.
At all about this? What is your future action? How would you intend to pay these loans? Anything?
My only future action is to achieve a settlement with the banks.
But how would you achieve to do that, sir? Any idea?
Why are you worried about my business?
Sir, because it is. Please. I mean, sir, the question being raised that it is the taxpayers' money, it is the public money which is being.
Listen. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I am making all possible efforts to settle with the banks. That's all I am prepared to say here.
And about the fact that your lavish lifestyle versus the loans.
Listen, everybody has their own perceptions. I don't want to comment.
But despite his defiant attitude, Mallya may be fighting a losing battle, although his friends say it's unfair to single him out.
Vijay's been coming in and out of the country for months on end. He keeps going to London, he comes back, he travels. I mean, it's a well-known fact that Vijay never spends much time in any one place. He travels. I don't think he's ever avoided, whenever he's been asked to speak to somebody, he actually has. It's not like he's avoiding it.
But time is clearly running out for Mallya, who finds himself cornered from all sides. While there is hardly any chance of him showing up before the Enforcement Directorate on Friday, he's also facing the prospect of losing his Rajya Sabha membership. And with his close aides facing the heat from the likes of the ED and RBI, the cookie may be fast crumbling for the once liquor baron. Krishna Kumar, ET Now, Mumbai.
Let's keep that story alive. Vijay Utkarsh on top of all developments there, joining us live from outside the ED and the CBI headquarters. We've still got Mega as well from Times Now. Vijay, we understand that banks have submitted all the KFA loan documents to the ED today. Plenty of them, consortium of about 17 banks that are in the docs, one would say, and all of them submitting the documents to the ED today. What happens from here on?
That's a very interesting question, Sandeep. As you're rightly pointing out, top 5 lenders, including SBI, PNB, BOB, United Bank, have already submitted the loan-related documents as sought by the Enforcement Directorate office here in Mumbai. Now, having said that, ED now has already started screening as we speak all the documents submitted. There'll be some document that would be coming from the rest of the banks of the 17 consortium, which has lent to Kingfisher. What ED is now looking at, it's a 360-degree probe of the loan given by each and every PSU bank in the 17 consortium banks to Kingfisher right from the stage of inception till the last loan that must have been disbursed at any point of time. So clearly they are looking at every penny that has been given, on what conditions they were being given, what was the due diligence which was done, who were the officials involved, and clearly there are indications that very soon, from as early as next week, officials from other PSU banks would be called in for questioning, whether present or past. Clearly a lot of tough questions will have to be answered by the officials involved in giving or sanctioning any loan to Kingfisher Airlines, because we all know how the mess has piled up now. And clearly to begin with, we could see IDBI officials being questioned this week as early as tomorrow or day after, particularly the officials involved in the CDR wing of IDBI has been called in to try and understand what basis these loans were given and then converted for corporate restructuring. So clearly it's a 360-degree probe by ED at this point of time.
You know, Utkarsh, before I let both of you go, and very quickly, I want you to answer this question for me. You know, the Sunday Garden interview, or the alleged interview that Vijay Mallya did, almost said it on record that he's not coming back, the environment is not right. But now that Vijay Mallya has completely denied having given that interview, is there any chance at all of his appearance come the 18th of this month? He's, after all, a Rajya Sabha MP.
So Supriya, when we are picking up from what we are picking up from our ED officials as well as CBI officials is that they're not very hopeful of him coming back. But what they are preparing on the back of their mind is the way ahead. Now remember that ED, according to the rules, have to go through the protocol. Now what the protocol says is that they have to send at least 3 summons. Now the only first summon has been sent, where the date is 18. So they have to send 2 more summons, and then a non-bailable warrant will go. So when you're speaking to our sources in ED, they are not very hopeful that he will come. If he comes, they'll be really happy to grill him again. But what they're preparing at this point of time is this next step, which is the way ahead, which is the second summon, because they have to follow the protocol before they really go for the non-believer warrant.
Right, Megha, comment on that as well, because I know you also been speaking to a lot of, to a lot of sources in ED. We all know that the date of the F1 event and the deadline given by ED is clashing, which is of course the 18th of March. What's the sense that you're getting? Is there any chance at all of him showing up? And if not, what is the process? Like Utkarsh was pointing out, they're going to issue a second summon. How soon before a non-bailable warrant gets issued?
You know what we just spoke to a couple of officers who were leaving the ED office here. They tell us that till this minute they have not heard officially or otherwise also from the team Mallya here in Mumbai. He has a big team here. So nobody has approached the ED for any sort of information about his appearance on 18th of March, which is the day for which the summons have been served. The second thing they are saying that, we sent this particular summon, the summon to Mr. Mallya on his personal email ID. And even then there is no response. There's nothing even about receiving these summons, nothing about him being able to make an appearance on 18th or not. They have also confirmed to us that as far as these banks are concerned, the consortium of the banks, 17 odd of them, they are saying that almost half of them have already furnished all the details that we asked for, all the documents we asked for pertaining to the loan transaction. So those details have come in and they are being perused right now at the ED office, after which of course the ED says that once they do their groundwork, they will be then summoning the concerned officials of all these banks and perhaps the head of these banks also in some cases.
All right, on that note, Megha, Utkarsh and Vijay, thank you very much for keeping us up to date every evening right here on India Tonight as far as this big Vijay Mallya or the Mallyagate is concerned.
To my right here is the expansive country house of none other than fugitive tycoon Vijay Mallya himself.
This is becoming a 360-degree investigation by the Enforcement Directorate.
Vijay Mallya supposedly, as an MP, has certain privileges, something that is hindering the probe of investigative agencies.
If Vijay Mallya does not turn on the 18th, then ED will be issuing the second summon, then the third summon, and finally a non-bailable warrant.
Australian police forces are not investigating Dr. Mallya.
This time he took a very pointed dig at Times Network, which of course has been at the forefront of going after Mallya over a debt recovery.
ET Now, unbeatable on breaking news.
Now, in spite of being seen with Vijay Mallya at several occasions, we've got former Civil Aviation Minister Praful Patel, who denounced pushing loans made to Mallya when he was in the government. In an exclusive conversation with the Times Network here, Praful Patel did say that he is ready to face the probe, any that may come his way.
I was a civil aviation minister. Obviously, people's pictures can be there in various functions. Does that mean anything?
But you know, CBI is also probing the fact that he may be close to political netas, those who may have pushed his loans.
Please, everybody should be probed. That is the best thing. Then only the truth will come out.
You feel you have nothing to hide in this?
What have I got to do with it? And please, I'm happy. If anybody is to be probed, I'll be very happy, because then all this unnecessary speculative dust will settle.
Mr. Chidambaram rightfully, as former finance minister, points out the process of lending. Does Mr. Arun Jaitley mean to say that the banks should stop lending and stop promoting small and big businesses? Lending by banks is a business decision by the banks based on financial viability of a project. Just because loan was given in X or Y regime, was not taken up by X or Y regime, does not protect Modi government from the fact that Shri Vijay Mallya has run away from India under their very nose.
श्री चिदम्बरम ने जो कहा है वो बहुत ही गंभीर है, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से अरुण जेटली जी ने राज्यसभा में बताया था पार्लियामेंट में कि ये कर्ज, इसमें बहुत कुछ हिस्सा कांग्रेस के समय में दिया गया था, अगर सच्चाई यह है कि भाजपा की सरकार में हिस्सा दिया गया था, और लगता भी यही सही कि राज्यसभा में उन्हें भाजपा के समर्थन से जीत के आए, और जिस तरह एक बड़ा हमेशा के लिए एक दाग लग गया है भारतीय जनता पार्टी पर, वो लाख कोशिश करेगी नहीं छूटेगा.
When the company was already going down, it was already down in the dumps, they gave them a bailout package. So they nurtured Kingfisher like the son-in-law of the Congress chief. And now for him to turn around and say, to give a clean sheet to himself, is going to carry no conviction whatsoever. The Congress party is actually very jittery. It is unnerved that the CBI and Enforcement Directorate are probing into all the transactions of the Kingfisher Airlines, and Congress is scared that the skeletons in the cupboard are going to come out very soon.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.